Welcome to my podcast, Today's Dream, Tomorrow's Reality. And I just wanted to jump on here real quick and let you know that usually my guest episodes are all about someone's story. Yet every now and then I have a guest who is just open to share something. And with that, that's what I have today. You will meet this guest as they give me a reading and explain all about it. And I was definitely blown away. If you are as intrigued as I am, then definitely take the time to check them out. And with that said, let's get to the show. Welcome to my podcast, Today's Dream, Tomorrow's Reality. My name is Vicki Poole. I'm a life coach, health coach, and a hypnotist at the Enlightened Peach. And this podcast is all about embracing our mosaic life. Some of you may ask, what is a mosaic life? Well, it's recognizing that all the pieces of our life, the good, the bad, the indifferent, have all come together to make us who we are. Change any one thing and we are different. With that in mind, I invite you to embrace your perceived imperfections and celebrate who you are. This podcast is unedited and raw, just like life. And I am your host, and I will be having special guests from time to time. As a matter of fact, I have a wonderful guest for you this evening. If you have any ahas or questions, please leave a comment or a voice message. And remember to like, share, subscribe, whatever it is on this platform that you do. Make sure you do that. So now let's get started. So my amazing guest for you today is Jen Post, and she is actually going to be sharing. I've had her on as a guest previously, telling about her life. But one of the things that she talked about at that time was that she did soul plan readings, and I'm having to look at my notes to make sure I say it correctly. So she is actually has agreed to do a soul plan reading for me and let you guys see what it's all about. And then we'll give you some information at the end of how you can connect with Jen if you wish to do so. So with that, Jen, you can take the floor.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching and sharing all this podcast out for everybody to see and experience unity, right?
Yes.
So this is what this is all about, bringing like-minded people together and share our stories and our experiences and our wisdom. And today I am going to be sharing with you a reading that I have done for many, many years, probably like 8 years now, and thousands of readings I have done over the course of these 8 years. And it's called the Soul Plan reading. And this reading, I shared with Vicki on our last connection that it changed my life dramatically, and it really brought everything together with me understanding the things that I have moved through, my thoughts, like why I had certain thoughts and why I reacted certain ways in certain situations, and how I brought situations to my experience because of my my soul plan. So I'm always so excited to bring this information to people because I know that it really helps you understand from a higher perspective just why you have the relationships that you have, why you make the decisions that you make, where that comes from. It's really like I call it like a karmic reading, because your soul has decided to incarnate, and when the soul decides to incarnate, we set up our energy, like our life. And we, of course, like you have mentioned, like you make this one decision and one choice, it changes, the direction. So this is a life reading. It's I always tell people it's a living transmission, because every time you re-listen to the recording or when you have the reading itself, it brings this conscious awareness from your higher self to your conscious mind, and therefore you can make different decisions that really help you move through what it is that why you incarnated here, and hopefully eradicate some challenges, some patterns, right? So we all know and have gone through it ourselves, why we repeat certain patterns, and we're like, wow, if I could just get out of this cycle.
Yes.
Right. Or you talk to somebody and, maybe they attract the same type of man or female, and they just can't seem to understand why this reading sheds so much light, so many aha moments, and it puts it all together, like you're saying, like that mosaic, right? It starts putting back all this information and parts of yourself, ultimately to help you along unification and coming back to that oneness. So it is a great asset, a great tool to utilize this information, and it will never expire until you expire. So I
Well,
tell
I have a question for you too,
Sure.
though. Is that once you've had one reading, is there a reason that you would have another reading? I mean, do things change that you would want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the original, we always start, of course, with your original birth name as it's written on your birth certificate, because that is the intended energy that your higher self wants you to embody, right? So
Right.
we go through this life and have that energy that goes out into our energy field, and every situation and person is a reflection of all the energies that's within your soul plan. So of course, people will come back and we'll do another session if they're going through like a lot of things, and I will incorporate maybe their Akashic records reading into it, or even the IET system that I do, or the dimensional Reiki, because you will see throughout certain cycles and timelines in your life, and very specific events, even traumatic events, will actually be derived from your soul plan. So people, of course, will come back, and I will work with all of these modalities to help you move through these challenges and heal the trauma, or even past life trauma that's coming up for this karmic clearing. But also, when people change their name, if they get married, or if they feel like they want to go by a different name, that's called an overlay reading, and it brings in additional energies. But we always need to look at your original so you have a good foundation. And of course, I do relationship soul plan readings. I mean, that saved my marriage, because you can really understand how the energies, what the person is experiencing and why they're reacting the way they do, and how you guys are working or not working together. And you can utilize that information to really heal and move through your karmic lessons with this person, because if you're with the person, it is a karmic, relationship. Right.
Right.
So we know that. So this is really, it gives a really wonderful perspective on how to navigate through the relationship. And you can also do business. I've done that with my business, to bring in, if I had a vision, like what couple of names I was tossing around, and really what energies, best suit, what best fit the vision that I had. So there's definitely, multiple things that you can play around.
Okay.
With. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. And we're going to do yours today. So what I'm going to do is start to bring yours up, and I'll go through yours. Let's see. Hold on one second. See if this comes. You don't see anything on the screen right now, right?
No, if it's not working, I can go back and make you a host. I just thought making you co-host would do it, but
yeah, maybe
go
try
ahead.
to do that. Yeah.
All right, let me do that. Why is it? Hold on just a second. Wait a minute, I need to move this over. Oh, there we go. There's a little thing. Okay. Make host. Okay. Now see if that does it.
All right. So I'm going to do, let's see if I do a screen share. Okay, that's perfect. And what I'm going to do is bring this up. Okay, so we always have to go on.
Okay, I still don't see it. So am I supposed to?
Not yet.
Okay.
What I'm
I just
gonna
want to
do
make
is-
sure.
Yeah. Well, let's hope for the best. So we always start with the exact spelling on your birth certificate. And even if it is misspelled, right? I've had that many times where the name was misspelled and the person didn't even know it. And I said, well, we have to go with that because that was, the higher self coming in and making it, because one letter can change multiple energies, right? So, okay, so it's VICKISUE.
No, IE.
IE, okay, SUE PATT.
ERSON, Patterson.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to put this in. ERSON. Okay.
And you got Vicky with an E, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see. Up there, I think we're going to get it. Okay. Can you see that?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So here we go. Now, so this is based in ancient Hebrew. So what we do, Hebrew gematria, which means we convert your letters into frequencies. And the Star of David is really just an incredible symbol. It's not just a Jewish symbol. It's an alchemical symbol. It represents the union of the human body and its spirit, because we have the triangles going down, right? So we have a triangle going down here, which represents the body, and we have the triangle going up, which represents the spirit. So it's this integration aspect of it. It is also the two-dimensional form of the Merkaba. Some people call it the Merkaba, some people call it the Merkaba, which is your energy light body. So as we rise up in our energy field, in our consciousness, into the higher quotients of our soul plan, we start to hook up to our energy field, and it starts to expand into a Merkaba. And this Merkava means light spirit body. It's like it actually means chariot in Hebrew. And it is our chariot on how we live a multidimensional life and even have multidimensional experiences. Like I've shared, I think in the last connection we had, that I travel to other timelines and other dimensions, and I have these interactions with Eve in parallel lives that I'm living in other universes or other parallel lives, and also experiences with other energies, star races. So as I would say ascend, my energy field starts to grow and strengthen, and this allows us to navigate the multi-dimensional life, that multi-dimensional being in a human body. So this is a really powerful symbol. So I always like to explain that when I give these readings, so people really understand that this is not just, a Jewish symbol. It really is a very powerful gift, I would say, gift to mankind, to let us know that we are divine human beings, right? And we are multidimensional, and we are part of the all source. So if we come to that knowingness, that will change our reality. Now, we live in the world of duality, right? So the third dimension, we have laws that govern our world, the third dimension. So we do have polarity, which is the good, the bad, the dark, the light, that's what polarity is. So each one of these vibrations contains polarity. It will have a challenging part to it and a positive aspect. So a challenging aspect and a positive aspect.
Right.
It will also have astrology, right? Because that's part of who we are, when we're born, and we look at the time and place that we're born, and that of course makes up our astrology chart and those influencing energies. So this is another blueprint like your astrology chart. Okay. So we bring that in. We also bring in with each vibration a body part or even an organ, because we're energy in a human body. So these energies are going to affect this either, organ or a body part. And charts can have multiple or repeating vibrations. I'm just looking at yours. You do not. So you have a lot of different energies that your soul is going to work with in this lifetime. So it can create, for some people, it could get a little overwhelming or even a little confusing if they're wanting to go try to decide what path to take, because they have all these different things coming in, right? So it could be a little overwhelming versus, let's just say somebody has 3 or 4 of the same vibrations. It's pretty much they're really gonna emphasize and focus on that particular energy in this lifetime. So they might feel like they don't even have a lot of wiggle room, like they're just on this concrete black and white type of life experience. So now, as I mentioned before, we have these 2 beautiful interlocking triangles, and we have the triangle going down is going to be your worldly aspects, the human aspects, right? So you have the worldly challenges, talents, and goals. And then, of course, we have our triangle going up, and that is your spiritual challenges, spiritual talents, and your spiritual goals. Then we have this beautiful thing in the middle, which represents your soul's destiny. It's like the heart essence of everything pushing through. And of course, what we want to achieve by doing our own mindfulness and conscious living and spiritual path, to have everything integrated and all these energies flowing beautifully and hopefully moving through some of the challenges that each one of them will bring to a person's life. So I always tell people, the player, like the people that are in your life, it's like a game of chess, but it's of life. They're just players in the game of life, right? So your soul acts to have these experiences and these life lessons. So when we come to that understanding, we judge less. Maybe we're less angry at ourselves or the person, because we've asked for this, right? We designed our human blueprint here. So really wonderful. So what we're going to do is, I always start with the first vibration, and I always like to bring in, even though it's in a specific position, like this is worldly challenges, I'll bring up also the spiritual component with it, because you are a spiritual being, right? You are spirit in the human body. So your first one, I have this vibration myself, so I know this well. This is the 3-3 vibration. So this is considered a double number because it's, repeating, where let's say if we look at the 21-3, this is a combination number. So it's bringing in another energy to work with that position. So right here we have your 3-3. This is going to bring in the Mars energy. So this is all about being independent, vibrant. It's the Aries energy. It's a teaching vibration. So this is about you becoming and embodying the teacher in this lifetime. You are gaining tons of knowledge. You're the labyrinth. So you see, this is like a little labyrinth, and there's this little opening. So you gain all this knowledge in this lifetime and you express it out. So you definitely have a karmic lesson of speech and sharing wisdom, pulling that in from past life. It's a master energy. It's a 3-3. These are powerful people who are coming here to be very expressive, to be great teachers, to be great leaders. It's in your challenges. So that could appear to, in many ways, you can feel that maybe you wouldn't be a good teacher, or, coming out of your shell and being seen, because this is about coming out of the protection, the labyrinth of protection, the shell, and really coming out. And truthfully, that's the energies of this whole ascension season, the summer with the Lion's Gate, about coming out and being seen. So a lot of people are healing that karmic lesson. It is a polarity lesson of wealth to poverty. So it is learning how to manifest wealth. This again could be, our self-worth, the thinking of if we are not going to be a good teacher or don't have this ability to express, because it's the throat chakra, it can obviously then block our creative energies and block that, which will therefore block abundance and understanding abundance. So it is definitely like a lack, could be a learning, I would say, like, about your self-worth. So it's not only just money, it's your worth too, so, because this is a worth type of energy. So lack of confidence, learning that, healing that. But on the strength side, it's really being able to communicate what's going on for others. So you might notice that people who, when we have these vibrations, people will come to you or be presented in your life that are mirrors, right? So if we move through this experience of healing our self-worth, you're going to have people that come to you that mirror that part of you that is now integrated. Because remember, like your mosaic, we want all parts and all fragments to come in and be an integrated being. And when we are an integrated being, our whole reality is completely different than when we're fragmented, right? So this is great communication, writing, channeling, singing, acting. It's some form of communication. Now you're doing a podcast, so this is fulfilling this higher component of this vibration. So if you had gone through, maybe being nervous about doing a podcast and sharing out, these types of views, or being seen, being heard, that's going to be part of this lesson for you to move through, right? But when you do move through that, you're being fully supported by the universe. And that's how we start to shift and really connect to the higher aspects of this. So that's really, really beautiful. So your soul definitely is here to share information out to the peoples in a big way, and for you to break through any self-worth or difficulties with communication, or being nervous about being seen and being heard, and speaking, definitely communication. So very powerful catalytic teacher, could be a spiritual teacher. So this is a master soul. So this is very powerful I actually have this in my spiritual challenges. And of course, right, you want to talk about mirrors. My husband is a social studies teacher. So, and he's very grounded. He's very earthbound, and social studies keeps you bound, right? Because it's earth, it's everything to do with earth and what happened in the history, our history. Yeah. I'm a spiritual teacher, so I did not even acknowledge that when I was moving through my journey. I always said, wow, I would be I could never do his job, But that was part of my limiting belief. That was part of this vibration. And once I broke through that and recognized that, my entire life changed. That one decision.
Nice.
That one decision. So it was like I broke on through to the other side and then started working full time, doing my whole healing, mentoring, teaching practice of spiritual teacher. So this is how I'm, this reading can impact a person. And truthfully, I always share my stuff that I go through because it helps a person really understand how how this reading can really shift things. Because if I didn't have this reading, I probably would have stayed in that limiting thought of, I would be not a good teacher. But having this information, I was like, well, okay, well, this is my spiritual challenge. If I want to correct this, I got to push myself. And that's exactly what I did. I pushed myself and it changed my whole direction of my path. So really amazing. So anything that you want to share with this vibration, like how this, have you gone through that? Like having the poverty and what that.
Well, I have, especially in my younger years, I had a lot of struggles with finances, and that, and that's been through most of my life, to be perfectly honest. But the thing is that years ago, I had an energy reading from a woman that's amazing at it. And one of the things she kept telling me was that my throat chakra was blocked and that I was holding things in instead of speaking them out. And I don't know if you recall, but one of the reasons that I started my podcast was because I wanted to feel free to have a voice, to be able to speak without worrying about repercussions or if I piss somebody off or whatever. Because I figured, this is kind of a safe space that you can say anything. And if somebody doesn't want to listen, they just change the channel, theoretically. But anyway, so it enabled me to do that. And I thought about it for a long time. And I thought that would be so fun. It would be so cool. But then I just don't know how to do it. So I let it go and I let it go until one day something happened where I got involved in a challenge on Facebook that was about creating a podcast. And I signed up for it and I did that. And
here we are.
Yeah. And I thought, well, that was easy. And it is so much fun that I will say, I had one of my friends ask me, she said, so do you get paid to do this? And I said, no. She said, well, you spend a lot of time on it. And I said, well, it lights me up. It makes me feel amazing to be able to share stories of people and my stories. And I said, if I never, ever made a dime for it, I said, it's what I like to do. And it's kind of, I'm feeling almost like it's my self-care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of people, they think of like wealth just in monetary form, right? So and you're recognizing the wealth that it gives your soul, and the wealth of what it will give to the people who are watching or who are going to watch, right? So that's beautiful. I mean, that makes me so happy that you pushed on through that, and the little magic fingers of the universe bringing that podcast, challenge to you.
I know
that was the little magic, that's how it goes, right? So
that's it.
I love it. you always got to acknowledge, the little behind the scene,
Yeah, because you get
work.
little nudges every now and then, and
Oh yeah.
sometimes you get a bigger nudge.
Yes, there you go. Kick in the
Yeah.
bum, right? So, so now we go to your worldly talents, and this is the Leo. This is the serpent dragon energy. It is a very strong vibration. It's power, it's resistance, it's protection. So you going through this life, learning about protection, learning about your power. A lot of people will learn about all different ways of how people would maybe take away or disempowered them, or who you give your power away to, or what you give your power away to. So this is what I call the dragon energy. And a lot of people, when I start doing like the dimensional stuff, they will actually have a dragon guide or part of a dragon clan, and it will awaken this whole understanding of these parallel universes that these beings are in, and that they live in. So that's always really interesting when I see this and shared that, even though if a person thinks at that moment in time that I'm a little woo-woo. But 10 years from now, I've had many people come back and say, I didn't understand what you were saying, but wow, I understand it now. And I never thought I would be doing this when you said that, so I've heard it all.
Well, I can say that I'm one of those people that I hate being told what to do. And so it could be from that, because as a young child, I could be just about to pick something up to put it away. And if somebody said, go put this away, I would do everything I could, even if it was something I wanted to do, I wouldn't do it because they had told me to.
Well, there you go. There's that Leo that you're gonna tell me what I don't think so. I am the one who decides this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
this is a very stable, but also resistant. So you can look at that too, the resistance of somebody telling you what to do and you resisting that, right? So my love him dearly. My husband has this vibration, and it is he and we're twin flames, and his soul plan is almost identical to mine, which really validates twin flames. But we have 3 different energies that I'm working through and he's working through. And this is one of the vibrations that like, even if we were going to go away on a trip, right? Resistance, no. And then I gotta work at the levels and layers to get him warmed up, and then we have a fantastic time. But it's just so interesting to see how a person will react and have this experience through these vibrations. So for you, dropping that toy and saying, I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, even when I was married, I remember my husband telling me to do something, and I just stopped and I said, if you knew me at all, you'd know that is no way to get me to do anything. And I just let it go.
Yeah.
But,
if he had your soul plan, he would be able to really navigate, in a different way. But this vibration, I love this vibration. Because you are a catalyst. It's a catalyst. The 7s and 9s in the chart are people who are here, serve, and you will be served. You're a service soul, and your soul really wants to be a peacemaker and bring peace to people, and find and embody strength. So you want to empower people. So not only you have this strength, and no matter, maybe there's a couple of things that you had to go through to find your inner strength, but you're also gonna, help others with that. Now, if you start looking at how different vibrations in your chart, interconnect and influence other vibrations, you have a teaching vibration here. So teaching people about where they're giving their power away to, and teaching people how to express their power, right? So this is where now we can see them coming together. And what's interesting is I have this vibration here, your worldly goals. This is Mercury, the energy of Mercury. So you are communication. This is speech in public, by the way. So you
Oh.
are destined to speak in the public eye, or a public format. This is a human activist. This is somebody, I have this. We're very passionate. We really want to, it's slavery to dominion, this polarity lesson. Break free from the chains. We want to help people break free from their limitations. And we teach this because you got the teacher vibration like I do, the 3-3.
So what's the significance of the double numbers of the 9-9 from the
So
worldly talents?
Well, the significance is about power and being that peacemaker. So you might notice that in situations, you're the one that's very calm or resolving issues, and people maybe look for you for that leader or that person who's gonna, what's the word that I'm looking for? Dissipate a situation, right?
Yep, that's definitely me.
There you go. Right. So, and you can teach about that too, because it's about communication here and teaching about people to come into their own peace within and what limits they are putting upon themselves. And this is where the 17-8 comes in, because this is about slavery to dominion. It's like, the 17 is the symbol of the tongue, and the 8 is how you relate to earth. That's like earth and people and your connections. It's an empath energy. So we have the tongue coming forth to speak in an earthly aspect. So you're definitely going to be doing public speaking and getting this great confidence. You're going to go through initiations to be this public speaker, to teach. You have the capacity to teach with this, and the fact that you have the 3-3, which is also a teacher, it is really you stepping into this teaching role in this lifetime, and breaking free from your limitations. It is sometimes people will, with this vibration, will maybe push down their emotional energies, feelings, they'll bubble it down, or they might push it down, and it's going to then just kind of churn within them. But it's meant to come up and come out, and recognize that you're a healing channel. This is also a big one with this, is to being that channel and knowing that you have this ability. So this is connected to the left ear and listening, hearing different perspectives, even holding on to the past. So it's about really letting go of the past, and healing that. So, and listening. So even what you're doing here, it's like you're bringing in a person, and we're listening to what the other person is saying, right? So you might see people coming in maybe in your relationships where they're not listening to what you're saying. Maybe they cut you off or want to hold you back from expression or hear what you're saying. So it's going to be about you stepping forth and really being heard, right? So this is TV, podcasts, all types.
I've always wanted to be a speaker as well,
Yeah, book writing.
Yeah.
So
I've got several books started.
There you go. Well, yes, I understand that, right? We all have ideas that we want to get out. And this is because you want to share out your wealth of your knowledge, your 3-3, in a public format. So this is where your 3-3 and your 17-8 now are working with each other, because you want to share out this knowledge that you have gathered and share out that wisdom to the public, because this is society. The 8 is society, and offering this and here we have the 9-9. You are serving, you want to serve. So that's serving, right? So beautiful. Then we move to your 21-3 vibration, and it's in the spiritual challenge vibration, but that's okay. We have challenges that we go through with either one of the vibrations. So this one is about you gaining endurance in this lifetime. It is the Uranus energy, so that's about being change, being a trendsetter in this lifetime. It's Aquarius too, like unconventional, pioneer, futuristic, a lot of energy, endurance, stability, intelligence. So you're going to go through, it's like this, it's represented by the heat of the head and burning off the ego. So when people have this vibration, you're going to go through burning off your ego. So that's going to be definitely something that you're going to move through, and this come to this great inner strength. So this is a really beautiful, you'll go through things that really build up your endurance in this lifetime, build up your inner strength. Very intelligent, serving, a chosen service incarnation, again, to serve. So this is another serving. So here we are, this service soul with the 9-9, but here you're here to serve. And again, it's bringing in that 21, it's bringing in that 3, excuse me. So you're bringing in that energy too, twice actually. Now, I have seen with people with this vibration, they can have chronic fatigue if they do too much, or if they go through like a lot of dark night of the soul. That will help burn away this ego and burn away the lower aspects. And they can just feel exhausted, with this, because you're moving through a lot to burn this ego off, right? So you can go through, some people I know with this vibration will go through multiple dark nights of the soul. And it is about you building up this durability and this endurance to become this incredible, strength and this pillar of light, really.
Yes. Well, I think I've been through multiple dark nights of the soul.
Yeah.
And the thing is now it's like, with trying to, with working business and everything there, I go. And then it's like, suddenly it's like, I'm exhausted. And I just, so tonight I'm going to bed. What time is it? Oh, 7:30. It's good. And I'll just go on to bed,
Wow. I got to learn from you, because I go to bed like between 11 and 11:30, and I could be absolutely can't even talk, exhausted. And my husband's like, go to bed. I'm like, nope, I can't. It's 11 o'clock yet. It's like a weird thing. So I got to take one from you, from your knowledge and your wisdom.
Yeah. And I don't do that very often, but when I get to that really tired place, it's like, okay.
Yeah, well, that's good that
going.
you listen. Yeah, because it will burn out the adrenals. Yeah, so this is that chronic fatigue can happen, lack of energy. See, some people even go into like isolation, because remember, you got your 3-3 here, and that's about coming into the shell. So if you're doing too much, taking that time and going back in can be really, really helpful. So beautiful, but great energy. Yeah, definitely very powerful. So you got that endurance, you got your 9-9, which is this great power energy and serving. So another service, divine service incarnation. So you're definitely here for a mission, for sure. Living your soul's mission. Absolutely. And in this vibration, your 6-6, this is thoughts. This is connected to Taurus, which is Venus. It's beauty, bringing in creative beauty. This is another expression. This is you being the beacon of light, and like moths to a flame, bringing in this light and bringing people in into the windows of their soul, and just radiating this. Now, this is like a convertible knot. If you look at the top of the symbol, it represents your crown. such a wonderful connection to your higher self and to source, getting those beautiful creative ideas and bringing it in. It's, if you move through the knot, it goes into the heart center. If it feels really good, you bring it down to the earth and manifest. So this is a manifestation symbol. So learning about how to manifest from your thoughts, teacher of thoughts, right? What is that? The law of attraction, right?
Right.
And navigating through your own thought process and seeing where, how you're creating lack or abundance. Very creative though, and it doesn't have to be in, like sewing or anything like that. This really has to do with thought. You're really getting those sparks from creation and bringing it down. So that's beautiful, because if you have a business, like when I do business readings, and some people are deciding, with their names, if this energy comes up, most of the time people will choose the business name that holds this one, because of all the sparks and beautiful creation ideas that creates abundance.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So here's your wealth to poverty. Align your thoughts with the highest, right? It will help pull in the wealth aspect of things. So this is the right kidney, which is you filtering out your truth. So you're going to go through that whole process, and with, of course, the 21-3 of burning off the ego, you're going to move through definitely some lower aspects of the self, if you're giving away your power to negative thoughts or feeling less than, that you're not worthy, that kind of expression, because this is also another expression, communication energy. It's one of the best to have in for business. So, and it's in your spiritual talents. So bringing in the spiritual ideas, creating that for your business. So the fact that you have a podcast, which is bringing in the wealth of information from even other people and also your own life, sharing it out. And then you have, of course, your 17-8, putting you in the public eye. You see how this all starts to flow together, right? So it's really interesting. So filtering out what is appropriate. It is some people with this vibration, they will have so many ideas or so many projects. Maybe that's part of your multiple books. And it's about learning to follow through, because you're getting so much information in. Sometimes people will have a hard time sleeping, because they'll be like so creative and want to create. It's like the bull in the china shop, right? So the Taurus is the bull, right? So maybe if you're going in too many avenues and you're getting frustrated because nothing's coming of it, or you have all these open-ended projects, we want to hone in on that and really try to focus and complete a project, right? Or filter out what is not appropriate for you, like, starting multiple things and filtering out, like, okay, I don't need to do that right now. I'll just focus on this one or two and see where it goes. So that's part of this vibration too. But I mean, in the spiritual talents, I mean, this is really your mind. Like if you put your mind to something, you can really create it. So that, I think you did that with the podcast, you got that inspiration through that beautiful Facebook nudge. And, you put all that Taurus energy and all that focus, and it feels good. It lights up your heart when you do so, and you're sharing these messages out. So it's beautiful. Now we move to your 10-1 vibration, which is this is the highest vibration in the chart, by the way. And you have it in a very, me and my husband have it in our soul's destiny, but I feel that when it's in the spiritual goal and the soul's destiny, it's such a high powered energy, and it's literally connected to the archangel frequencies, and that of Archangel Michael is the shield. This is the shield of Archangel Michael. So, I shared in the last podcast we did that was the first angel that started when I awakened, was descending from my ceiling in my bedroom and telling me that I was, I hold the angelic frequencies, and I named my son Michael because he's part angelic. And I thought I was really going to have a nervous breakdown because, you start having these experiences, it seems a little crazy. Right? Okay. So, but what saved me was me meeting that woman and receiving my soul plan. And when she told me that my last vibration was I work hand in hand with Archangel Michael, I started to cry, like literally cry, because I knew right then and there everything that I was moving through and experiences, it was validating. So that's how life altering these readings can be for somebody. And this is the Virgo energy. It's a very, very high frequency. It is a symbol of manifestation. The 10 is spirit. You are this manifested spirit in physical form with angelic frequencies, and you're here to bring this angelic light down into the earth. You are to experience and move through of understanding what it means to experience heaven on earth within you, and even teach that, because you got the 3-3. Right. So it's a master soul. Now, archangels are androgynous. They hold both the divine feminine and the divine masculine, right? So they're androgynous, right? So you too is about integrating this. So I might have shared this in our last conversation that, I was a real big tomboy, and I hung out with the boys and dirt bike riding and horseback riding. And it wasn't until, motherhood that I got into that divine feminine and being that female role. And energetically, as I did my healing work and it was on the spiritual path, that I really understood the blending of these frequencies, and could even feel it energetically within, the integration of that. So that was pretty cool. The quality of this vibration is work. So I live my work. I love to work. I live my work, my whole healing practice, and doing what I'm doing here. And I love it. And it also means that we're going to work at deep levels of healing ourselves to become that integrated being, like the Archangel Michael shield, right? That's just integrating too. And also, of course, the representation of the Star of David, that integrated person, being. So you're going to work at this and do the work. Some people will hightail it out of there and not want to do the work. And that's the lower aspect of this vibration. They might not even have, like my husband has this vibration. He hasn't even had his soul plan. They won't even want to have the soul plan done because they're afraid to see and do the work, because he's got this other escapism and the resistant vibration. Those are the vibrations that really I see played out. But I honor it because I know that's where he's at, and why we came into union with our relationship. So I work with him at that level of understanding this. So it is very insecure, like you move through insecurity, perfectionism. That's something I've definitely have worked on and still working on, being self-critical, and just being hard on yourself, so that's definitely the work. That's where the work goes into this vibration. Now, it's the vocal expression, the gift of vocal expression. So here, this is why you're doing what you're doing, and why I'm also on your podcast, right? Gift of vocal expression and sharing out my 3-3, your 3-3. So we have, so we have three of the same vibrations in your world, the challenges, your worldly goals, and your spiritual goals. You and I share those vibrations. So you can see like just how those three vibrations, how it has led me to where I am at and where you are at. And here we are together, right?
Mhm.
Here we are together working these vibrations. So it's coming to a conscious mastery in this lifetime. I remember when this woman said this to me and I was like, okay, well, that sounds great. Sure, a conscious mastery. All right. Not having any bit of a clue or understanding what that was going to entail of conscious mastery. That
Mhm.
is a lot of work to work at mastering your consciousness, right? So think about that, right? So that's why it's the highest vibration. If you are to really hold these polar opposites and blend them in unification and to be the master of your mind, which is the all, right? It's a
Mhm.
lot of work to do so.
Yeah,
So
that it kind of explains. I've always been ultra curious about why we do the things we do. And I cannot tell you how many courses and workshops and different things I've done in the past 7 years that were all about mindset and all about how to
yeah,
um to
master your mind.
yeah, master your mind. And I'm in two right now that are about the same thing.
This is about mastering your mind.
Yeah.
And you take in your 3-3, the labyrinth. You want to absorb information and take it all in. So here you have the 3-3, and then you're going to share it out because you're taking all this, you're understanding how you're mastering your mind, you're learning your labyrinth, you're gathering knowledge, and then you're going to share it out. And then plus here, you're going to share it out in a public forum. So to society. So there you have it again. So yeah, that's pretty great. Now this is every healing ability, every
Hmm.
psychic ability, like you have it all, you can tap into any one of these. It just is your decision on really on what you choose and what platform, like I chose it to teach about the archangels and do channelings with them and do IET and all of that and teach that, so I'm doing it that way. You might be doing it in another way that might not necessarily be how I'm doing it, but you're still connecting to those frequencies of being that conscious, that mastermind, really,
Hmm.
and teaching people how to master their minds, right?
Right. Well,
There you go.
I'm a health coach, a life coach, and a hypnotherapist. And the school that I went to get my certification for health coach, life coaching, and I did a mastery with them and everything. It's more of a mindset thing.
Yeah.
Like on my business card, it says the master of habit change.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Master of habits. So labyrinths, limitations, right? There's your 17 right there too. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And
Hmm.
your 6-6 thoughts, mind too. So you're bringing that in too with the mastermind. So you're utilizing all the very positive parts of this vibration. So that's awesome. And then we have your soul's destiny, which is the 12-3 vibration. And the 12 to me looks like a painter's palette.
Hmm.
And it's now Libra. So your 6 was the Taurus. So that's all that energy of Venus, love, air, it's beauty. It's another master expression and sharing out, expansion. So it's about you learning about love. This is literally the love vibration. So I love that. So it's teaching about love and you learning about love, and being very harmonious and romantic and successful, and this great desire to learn about love. So it could be like, learning about the things that you love to do and really tapping into that. It could be it could be a love coach, like it could go to like, or teaching people to love themselves, right? And self-worth and self-expression. And this is the gallbladder. This is judgments, like going through processing judgments, or learning about, like, somebody is afraid of or lack of self-love, or needing approval. This is a sexual energy. It's cohesion. So it's that love-making energy. So I've seen people, or I've seen how this has played out with many people, but some people will be confused too on their sex, orientation. And they'll have to go through that and the judgments of that. I've seen where people will have multiple partners because they just love to have sex. Right? I've seen sex addicts under this vibration. I had one client who went to hedonism all the time. So, I've seen it with with my own spiritual teachers and mentors. They had this vibration, and it was like sharing their love and the love of God, and how to love yourself. And that's what I've learned with my teachers who held this vibration.
Yeah.
And I
well, in all of the coaching that I do, we always work on the love of self, and on every single person. And I actually have a new program that I am working on. It's called Body Beautiful, and it's self-acceptance and and loving yourself who you are, and without worrying about the expectations of the world.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's bringing in that Venus and that love energy, that Venus beauty. Venus is really a huge influence right now. I do retreats, and the Blue Rose Goddess is about embodying that. But when I do these retreats, it's around the Venus energy, and planet Venus when it's out, or however it just manifests like that, right? But when I hosted the past retreat, I have one coming up in October. It was really interesting because I learned that Venus travels through our night sky on a cycle, and on an 18-month cycle, and it does this 5 times. And each time it finishes the cycle, it forms a part of a rose, like the inner workings of the rose, like the and then the outer. And by the time it's done with its complete cycle, it's a complete rose in the sky. It has traced out that pattern, which I never knew.
That's interesting.
So when I did these retreats, I was like, just crazy how I learned this, and why it was the blue rose and all about Venus. So the goddess Venus and the Venus energy is so present. So you are definitely going to tap into that source with what you do to share that out, and all of those creative energies. So with this vibration here, it's sometimes people will with this vibration will almost feel like they don't have enough time, like they have this urgency and this desire, and they want to do so much, and they feel like, oh my gosh, I'm running out of time. There's so much I need to just want to accomplish. And it is because your soul wants to expand at such a level that it can feel like the human can feel like that there's, I've seen people who had this vibration who run late all the time, too, because they're doing so many different things. But your soul really wants you to align with as much soul truth as possible that's retained at a cellular level in this lifetime. So you're definitely going to learn a lot and share a lot, and definitely an incarnation cycle where you are here to blend, your consciousness in the highest with taking in all of the vibrations. And it makes a lot of sense with what you shared about all of the projects that you have, and what you have done, and that you will do, and where that focus is and what's it's pulling in about all that beautiful love. Again, it's coming through the soul plan. So that's really going to be the driving force, is that love. Yeah, so there you have it, my friend. There's your beautiful soul plan. And yeah, you're definitely here with a mission. That is for sure.
Yeah. Well,
To share.
one of the things I've always said is that my greatest fear is passing on without having made a big enough difference in the world.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's definitely part of the limiting, the lower aspect of what you're burning off, and all of those parts and components of each one of these vibrations, because your soul is wishing to share this out. So yeah, it will come up as that lower belief, so there you go do the work, right? You do your 10-1 vibration, you do the work to make sure that this doesn't happen, and
Right.
you live your soul's mission, which is what you're doing.
Right.
It's exactly what you're doing. So yeah, so there you have it. There is your very own unique soul plan. And it's always an honor to share this, because just understanding from it being a living transmission, it's when you have this information, or you receive this information, of course, it's, yeah, I am like that. Yeah, that did happen. But on an energetic level, things start to move. So you might notice things picking up a little bit, like becoming more easier for you to flow into it, or get ideas and ideas manifesting and all of that. Because once you receive it, it starts to shift in your field to connect with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's always a fun part too. When people call me up and, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I, not too long ago, was introduced to this gentleman that is actually a business coach. And I've done so many different things that just seem to have, like, it would tell you this and it would tell you this, but I couldn't seem to put the two together, of how to make things work. And something about this man, in which I only met him because I had talked to this other coach, and somehow I got connected with him because of that. And because I didn't know who he was. And the stuff that I'm doing with him is like that in the gap stuff. And I even told him the other day, I said, this is what I've been looking for. The thing that tells me right here how I can make this happen. And so it's like I've been working on that, and it just feels good, because I love to be able to well, let's put it this way. One of the things that I just have really, I'll get stuck, is when I get into this place where, okay, I know I started here and I know I'm supposed to be here, but I can't figure out how to do this. And I will spin my wheels. And finally I'll say, to heck with it. I'm just going to stop right now. And then the things he's teaching me has helped me to not feel that angst. And it's just happened. I've only been working with him for about a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what does he tell you? Like, what tips does he give you?
Well, it's kind of hard to explain, because it's actually, he, some of it is the mindset stuff. It's all, he's got all that in there, but then there's actual practical tips. Like I did that challenge for the podcast where she took you step by step of how to do all the things you had to do, where to go to post it, where to, so it was all the step by step. And then what he does is he said when he got to a certain place, he decided that, a lot of people are asking him, how did you manage to do this? So he went back and reverse engineered everything so that he could help somebody to know. Because what happens to me, let me tell you one thing, is it's like people that know what they're talking about, they talk from where they are.
Sure, yeah.
And so I needed to fix something on my lawnmower. I needed to replace the spark plug, right? Sounds simple. So I take the spark plug, I get another spark plug, and I come back and I can't figure out how to do it. So I go on YouTube, I watch several videos, and they would show you looking at the spark plug, taking the spark plug off, but then they would show the spark plug done. And so they
Wow.
didn't show you the actual tool that you had to use on this particular spark plug and this particular lawnmower to make this work. And so they left out that one little piece that made me so frustrated, and I couldn't do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So,
That's
and
amazing.
I think a lot of times people don't think about that. It's that, like, all I needed to know with the lawnmower was there's another tool that you have to use
You
to
got to
make
use
this work, and this is how you do that. But none of them that I watched had that on there. And I asked a neighbor, and he came over and he was helping me, and he said, well, do you have the tool for this? I don't know. He said, well, it should have come with your lawnmower. I said, well, I don't remember seeing a tool look like that, so I had to go buy one.
Yeah.
So, but that's the kind of thing.
Link for that.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting, but I think there's in the arena of coaching and everything that you and I do, I think a lot of times that's what gets lost, is that we know the thing to do and the little tool to get there and all this, but we forget that they don't.
Yeah. And we're here to, remind ourselves of that, right? That we were once there too with that missing tool, right? So
So I'm telling you, this gentleman has been so amazing with getting through this stuff. Now I'm just starting with it, and this is what is it, an 8-week thing?
Oh, wow.
And so I'm working on he's helping me to almost reverse engineer my program even before it's created.
Wow.
So that I know exactly all the things to do for my program and how to help my clients understand that too. So it's really, really powerful.
Wow.
Yeah. If you ever need his information, just let me know and I'll share it with you, because he's amazeballs, I'm telling you.
It's amazing to me, like even like with Tony Robbins, and just like the energy behind it, and just the wisdom, and how, like, to me, I'm always like, how does he put this all together? Like your guy that you're working with, and it's just really just very interesting, when you sit back and think about that, that there are those keys to help us unlock our greatest potential, really, really thankful.
Yeah, definitely. So are we finished with this right here? You want to unshare the screen?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That way I can see you better.
Yeah,
hey, there you are. You were just a little tiny box over on the side.
So there you have it, my friend. There's your soul plan. So definitely you'll have this on recording, and when people come in and we do it over Zoom like this, and I go through their same thing like what I did with you, and we can record it this way. They have it, and you can go back to it, and whenever you go back to it is when you're divinely guided to go back to it to receive another layer of transmission. So it's just very interesting, with that.
So that was great. I loved all of it. Felt very powerful and uplifting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it was a great validation for some of the things I feel and the things that I want to do, but feel sometimes a little out of my zone. And so that's, one of the paths that I'm on with, learning from this gentleman, James, about my business and how to put it forth, because I can't help people if they don't know I'm there. I think it was him that told me, he said, and I get confused because I talk to so many people, and it could have been someone else, but he said, when you have a business and you're not marketing it in a way that people want and need, then it's almost like you're driving down this deserted highway. And, normally there's if there's a restaurant that's like 5 miles off the interstate, and there's a billboard up there that says restaurant 5 miles this way. But he said, if you're not doing your marketing, so people can know you, there's no billboard there. And so they don't have a way to even know you're there with their answers, with the things that they're looking for
Yeah.
And so it's our job to, make sure that we are communicating correctly to get the message out there to help
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah.
that's my thing, is I always am looking for another way to help someone.
Yeah. And to get this out there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So that's that 17-8 vibration, getting the word out to the public even, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see that that's part of that challenge of learning, that labyrinth, learning how to get out the information to the public.
Mm-hmm.
So that's those two vibrations right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting, but yeah.
Yeah, so with my reading and knowing me, we don't know each other that well, but we've had a couple of really in-depth conversations.
We sure
So
have. Yeah.
yes, we have. So is there any sage advice that you can give me going forward with having seen this life path?
Well, I always tell people, let it integrate for a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, and then go back and re-listen to it, because a lot of times when we're having our reading, we're just listening to what I'm saying, and it's not like really like
Mm-hmm.
going in. So I always find sitting with it and then reflecting on our past experiences, and therefore how we can make these changes when they are presented. You'll be able to recognize quicker
Okay.
your flags of the vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Flags in is a good thing? Are
yeah.
flags in?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
You will be
Gotcha.
like, okay, well, this is all right. This is part of, this energy that, and why this is coming up. So, let me sit with this and see, how I can navigate this through, and why this is coming up, because we're going to continue our earth walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have these little things that come up that are just say, hey, this is being presented, and how you therefore handle it, or the decisions you make from having this. So yeah, that's what I would definitely, and I
Okay.
always tell people, recommend sit with it and then listen to it a little bit, let it sink in, and think about the energies and all the people and situations in the past too, because
Mm-hmm.
that also is a great healing tool, because then we don't hold on to the anger or the frustration or what had happened within that dynamic. We can say, well, they were showing me this,
Mm-hmm.
this is what they were, that was a mirror reflection of this vibration. So not only you can use this as a tool for other situations to come up, but also to kind of review and heal from your past circumstances and
Cool.
relationships. So
Cool.
it's twofold.
Yeah. And I would imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine it's like as you grow within yourself, and then you go back and watch it again, it'll have a different meaning. And I'm saying this because like I've had so many books that I have read and devoured, and then a few years later pick that book up, and I swear to goodness they put new information in there because I didn't see it before.
Yeah, it sinks into the level, right, of the consciousness, right?
Yeah.
So that's why when I was saying in the beginning, when people call me up like 3 years later or 5 years and like, oh, now I get it, like, because when you have it, it is a layering process. And it's even hard to, I mean, you worded it correctly, but even the energy around it, right? You just, that whole process of, wow, it's like you have more clarity and you go deeper into that clarity. So you will constantly, like that rose, will be constantly unfolding more of this energy that's contained within each of your vibrations. Yeah. So that's
perfect. Perfect.
That's a lot of it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I will be posting, when I post this, I will have in the description all the links. Like, so I don't know if I can't remember if I've got that already, but if not, we will get that.
Yeah.
All the links so that people can connect with you. And if you've got a book or if you've got a program or anything like that, and you want the links for that, definitely I'll share them out for everyone. And in the meantime, I would like to thank everybody for being here, and especially you for doing this wonderful reading and allowing me to air that so everybody can kind of experience that and know what it feels like so that they can decide if that's something they want to do. And I would say, do it. But thank you, and thank all of my listeners and my viewers. And make sure, as a reminder, to like, subscribe, share, all the things, because I'm going to have it on my YouTube channel as well. So you YouTubers, do whatever you need to do to get this out more. So I appreciate you, and I thank you. Be blessed.